All right, welcome back. We have an interesting knife here. I almost threw it out onto the screen and realized it has my information on both sides. So bear with me while I trust me that I'm unboxing it over here. You have to trust me on this. Well, I unbox it with my Demco 8020.5, my new unboxing knife now that I got the G10 version. That should do it. Let's get into it. Let's see what we got. I know what this one is. I recognize the seller's name. Super cool guy, actually. And yeah, I'm excited to check this one out. There are some brands, if you live in the United States, that weren't checking out, and this is one of them. So with no further ado, it's a Strider, and it is an SMF. Ooh, okay. Did not expect that. I don't know if that's how they all are, but I don't know. That's very cool. Is this an actual Strider thing here? I don't think so. No. And this I don't think is a Strider case either. I think these just come in like a plastic bag, more or less. I don't think this is for this knife. Bear with me one sec while I just go through this pouch one more time. I think he just gave me an extra pouch he had. All right. Mickey, huh? Hey, Mickey, you're so knife. Is that original? That's interesting. This is called Tiger Stripe, I think. Keep me honest in the comments. Okay, that's pretty nice. Okay. I had a not so good experience with a, that's good. Okay. I had a not so good experience with a 0.75. Came to learn after I bought it that they're basically just a Medford. There are a lot of people that like that knife, but I have just no real desire to have that knife, so that one's already gone. But I have been meaning to check out like a true Strider, and this is a cool one. I gotta check out an SNG too now that I've seen this. I don't know what the story is though with this. Are all the SMFs closed like that? One piece? It looks like it's one piece of milled titanium or something. Come on, magnet, keep me honest here. Yeah. Tie both sides. I like this finish on this one. This like pure black with a pretty simple milling in there. Now, are these milled out inside the scales too? Oops, sorry, camera. Just stabbed the camera. It's so dark. It's such a dark black, I can't see in there. Let's take a look. No. So that's just one slab of titanium in there. There's no milling. But that is a really nice knife. It's not like super drop shut. I don't know if it might benefit from a little bit of lubrication. Not 100% sure. I believe this is a washer knife, but keep me honest. Looks like it's running on phosphor bronze in there, but I could be wrong. But there's a little bit of friction that makes it like not quite drop shut. What I will say is, if you watch the channel, you know I'm not a huge fan of titanium frame locks. But this one, I can like be basically resting my fingers on the frame lock and roll out with zero. Okay, someone told me the right term for this the other day because I was calling it lock stick, and I should be calling it lock bar pressure or lock bar. Anyways, you know, you can put some pressure on the lock bar and it's actually shocking. Like you can really push on that and it still comes out. I don't know how he does that. So that's cool. That I've never seen one where I could push on it that aggressively. You can see my fingers turning white there. And it's still, it's definitely, it makes the D10 a little harder, but like 40, 50% harder instead of 300% harder like you would get on a lot of knives. All right, glad the seller talked me into this one. He responded to one of my want to buy ads on Blade forums, and super cool. He actually kind of educated me on this a little bit as we went through the process, and I didn't really know what they were worth. This one's a CTS XHP, beautiful stonewash finish. Really love the stonewash finish on it here. Beautiful, beautiful finish. And it's like partly reflective. I can see myself in there. That's really cool. Let's get a little close up on that. It's kind of hard to film it because it's so reflective. It's hard to see the surface. This is one of those knives, one of those few knives where the lock side is maybe even better looking than the show side, quote unquote. So the condition of this knife was characterized as like carried a couple times by the prior owner. The person I bought it from had not carried it. Such a deep black. It's a really nice matte black. I'm impressed. All right, let's see how the feel is in the hand, because that was something I didn't love on the 0.75, and this one I'd say is fairly similar. I'm not crazy about it, but it's not bad. Like some really nice actually jimping up here, really big, broad jimping. Kind of reminds me of the early Demco 8020S drop point that I have, the M390 variant. The lockup is not crazy on there. It's a very, very shallow, or what's the term for it? It's a little late at night. I've done like 4 videos today. What do they call it? Early versus late. It's a pretty early lockup. That's a sweet knife. But yeah, this thing is a little, look at the size of that. You choke up on that and you have a lot more knife than you need. You come back into the normal part of it and you still got, I mean, this is a massive knife. What is this thing, like 9 inches or something? Let's take a look. The handle to blade ratio, look at that, spot on 9 inches. The handle to blade ratio on this is absurd. So it has like 3 1/4 inch cutting edge, then you got a sharpening choil, then you got a finger choil. I think I've heard people talk about this. I think I watched a Metal Complex video and he talked about this, and I've never had one of these myself, so now I get where he's at. Just shy of 4 inches of total blade length, but only a 3 1/4 effective cutting edge. So it's just not a super efficient knife in terms of handle and stuff. I don't know if that's what helps them achieve what they do, though, in terms of, I mean, what's crazy, though, is despite that, the tip's almost to the back of the knife. So pretty interesting. Anyways, bear with me 1 second. All right. It's a cool one. Now I really want to check out an SNG because they're a little smaller. It's probably a little more efficient than this. And I was kind of I needed to get either an SMF or an SNG in hand and see what it was all about. Is this like my grill knife? I'm going to go sell everything off and go all Strider? No, it's not. This is not like what I'd call an all-around amazing knife for me. What it is, though, is a great knife for what it is. Like, they execute on what they're doing here really well, and I really appreciate that in a knife. That's, as a collector, something that I really appreciate and something I seek out. I can have a little variety in the collection. I don't need to have 50 of these, frankly. I'll go wild like that, 30, 40 copies of one of, not copies, but like variants of a knife I really, really love. This one would not fall into that category, but I really appreciate their execution on what this is, because it is really quite good. And I'm trying to think of the right word, is remarkable, but notable. It's definitely noticeable and notable that they're doing a really good job on this knife for what it is. Again, it's the ratios and everything. You got a 4-inch blade that barely fits into a 5-inch handle. So there's a lot of, I got to imagine, I don't know exactly how this sits inside of the handle, but a lot of space here. What are they doing exactly? I guess it turns into a rectangle when you close it to some degree, like 2/3 of it are rectangular. It's a really interesting concept, all things considered. You don't see a lot of knives like this in the market for sure. And it feels like it'd be very hard to use. You know, I think the things it reminds me most of are Hinderer. Reminds me the most of like a Hinderer mixed with like a cursory mixed with like a, there's a little bit of Demco here in the slot and the jimping. Obviously this is, you know, Strider's been around for a long time, so I'm thinking, I'm not saying that this is a copy of those. If anything, some of those are probably copying some of this, but there's just some of those elements. I really like the feel of the blade steel. I don't talk a lot about that, but that is something that I do notice on knives at times. And this one does stand out as one where when you touch, when you come in contact with the blade steel, it's really smooth. Everything's really nicely knocked down at the edges. And it is, again, a notable feature of this knife is the blade steel itself feels very refined and polished and cared for. It feels like there's a very intentional finish put on the blade steel, not like it was the most efficient thing that they could do, but something that they wanted to be intentional about and how they finished the blade steel on the knife. So it's not like super hot spotty. I get like a little something right in here just because it's so boxy. Like right in here is not comfortable. It's a box, it's just a straight edge. You kind of get this like little angle here. There's not, if you get up here, it's not too bad, it's not too good. If you're in here, you get some hot spots through here, like inside this area. The clip has no hot spot. It's actually kind of a cool clip. I've never really seen one like that before. It's not deep pocket, but it looks like it would go into the pocket pretty easily. And it's just very minimalist, which I kind of appreciate. Very interesting knife. I'm pleasantly surprised. There are only 8 or 10 videos that I've done out of, I don't know, 100 unboxings on this channel where I've been pleasantly surprised by what I got. I actually did this knife last today because after my last Strider experience, aka Medford experience, I was not super enthusiastic about this unboxing, and I actually really enjoyed it. So seller, you know who you are out there. I hope you enjoy this one. Really appreciate that you made this one work for me, and thank you for introducing me to the right side of Strider, because this is definitely an impressive piece of hardware. And again, I don't know how it is that they're doing that. I don't know if this is a double detent like a Roosevelt, but there are only like a 2 or 3 that I can remember that you could put that kind of pressure on your lock bar on a frame lock and still get the knife out so consistently and easily. Unlike Hinderer. Hinderer, man, if you put that kind of pressure, you have to hold a Hinderer like that or it's not coming out. So the sounds aren't quite as satisfying. The opening's as satisfying as a Hinderer, the closing's not. And I don't know, again, if it's that this one should be, you know, given a little lubrication on the pivot. It's generally smooth, but it's not like super duper smooth. So I don't know. I'll do a little research. I'm not gonna go tamper with this beauty without doing a little bit of research on how to care for a Strider, but yeah, glad I have this one in the collection. That worked out. Very, very good. not every day that it goes down like that. So happy with it. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Please give me all the information I don't know about Strider in the comments. And I'm tempted to either find an SNG that's very similar to this or very different from this and see how that kind of resonates also. I made a friend, this is the second time I've claimed him as a friend, that sold me a brown that is a big Strider guy, and he's big on the SNGs, so I'm going to probably go ask his advice now and see what which one he recommends and send him a picture of this and see what he thinks. So, all right, please like, subscribe, comment, and take care. I will see you on the next one.